So, today we are going to talk about the scary table in the Appendix 2 of RCOG Green Top Guideline number 71. Now, this appendix or table talks about the stratification of maternal bleeding risk in a pregnancy. So, we will categorize and according to every risk factor, we will understand what is the relevant management for the pregnant patient. Now, this table, though it looks very, very scary, it is very, very easy to remember and very, very important to remember because anybody can come across this table in exams and in clinical practice. Now, to remember this table, we have to imagine a building which is 4-storied. First, second, third, and fourth. And this story is about Willie. Now, Willie is the name of a wolf. So, it is about animals, human beings, and carrier birds. So, somebody very, very important in this entire building discussion is Willie, who is nothing but this fox. So, whenever we are talking about a fox, we will talk like Willie, and Willie will symbolize one relevant factor. So, that makes the discussion very easy to remember. Now, if we look at the 4th floor of this building, we can see there is a table and 3 Willies triplets. It looks like a triplet. So 3 Willie brothers are sitting alongside a Homo sapiens man. Now this variety of Homo sapiens is not the very commonly looking man. So what I'm trying to remember through this man is Homo, that is homozygous, rare coagulopathies. And 3 triplet Willie brothers will symbolize type 3 1 Williband disease. So now they are on a discussion, and what are they discussing? They are discussing about 2 things. One is there is a function going on. If you can see this plate, it has got a balloon. That means there is some function going on which is being discussed, and this is a big balloon on the plate. So we are trying to represent platelet dysfunction, and that too severe because it's a big balloon. So severe platelet function issues. So this is a round table conference between 3 triplet Willie brothers with a rare looking homozygous Homo sapien man, and they are discussing about a function, a very big severe function, which is being denoted by this plate with a balloon. So platelet dysfunction. And the another topic of discussion between these people is a carrier bird. Now what is this bird carrying? She's carrying a file. And what is she thinking? She's thinking about the history of bleeding from the file. So she is a carrier for the philia, carrier for hemophilia with a significant bleeding history. If you can see, this is a big drop of blood. So she's thinking, oh my god, this file was bleeding. There was so much blood coming out from the file last time. So I have to take the file as quickly as possible so that there is no bleeding. So on the 4th floor, these are the topics of discussion. The 3 triplet Willie brothers discussing with the Homo man about the platelet function and about the bird carrier carrying the file, thinking about the bleeding that was happening from the file. That is hemophilia carriers with significant bleeding history. This is all which is happening on the 4th floor of the building. Now we step down a little bit, and this fourth floor is the high risk zone of the building. Now we step down to the third floor. So you've gone for an inspection of the building as to you are an income tax officer and you have already visited the fourth floor. Now you've come down to the third floor, vigilance. Now on the third floor you see it is more about women. So third floor, when you knock, you see there are two Willy brothers here. So 2 means type 2 von Willebrand disease. And here what are they discussing about? They are discussing about two women. Two brothers discussing about two women. So the first woman that they are discussing, she is pregnant and she is not very happy because she had brought a pair of shoes for the baby to be born, but the pair of shoes that has been given to her is a mismatch. She has been given one part of the pair as 8 and the other as 9. So she's not very happy. So the pregnant lady with this 8 9 means we are talking about mildly reduced third trimester maternal levels of factor 8 and 9, and also the Willi factor. Willi factor, von Willebrand factor activity, which is mildly reduced in the third trimester. She's also thinking about Willi, that Willi must be talking about me. So Willi factor is there in her mind. Her mind is thinking about Willi. So the Willi factor is there and the shoe factor is there. So third trimester reduced levels of factor 8 9 and von Willebrand factor is what I'm trying to denote by this pregnant lady's third trimester tummy. Now the another lady which the two Willy brothers are discussing is this lady with two long legs and she's bleeding, and the two long legs designate factor 11 deficiency with clinical bleeding. So on the third floor the income tax officers found two women and two wolves. The willies, they are discussing about two women. One is bleeding with two long legs. She is factor 11 deficiency with clinical bleeding, and the other pregnant lady who is thinking about Willie, that is deficiency mildly reduced third trimester von Willebrand factor, and she'd brought two shoes for her would be born baby, but they are a mismatch. One is a number 8 and the other is a number 9. So now the income tax officer is done with the two wolves and this pregnant lady and the other lady and all that. So now they are done and they come down to the second floor. Now again second floor there is a function. So now he's fed up, like again there is a function, but here the function is small. See, we see the plate. The plate has a balloon which is smaller in size. So it is a mild dysfunction, mild platelet dysfunction. And the carrier has again come with the wolf this time. And both are holding a 0.5 mm pilot pen. What does that depict? That carriers of hemophilia with third trimester factor 8 and 9 levels more than equal to 0.5. So factor 8 or 9, whichever hemophilia we have, the level should be more than or equal to 0.5. So why I have drawn this pilot pen is because the pilot pen needle tip is 0.5 mm. So now this carrier bird who was initially thinking of the bleeding, now she's into writing and she's writing with this 0.5 mm pilot pen. And the wolf, now he's alone. He is von Willebrand disease type 1, so he's alone. So he thought, okay, I don't have company to gossip about the woman and the homo sapiens now, so let us also write. So again on the second floor, type 1 von Willebrand disease with W factor, that is Willy factor, should be more than 0.5. Again, he is using the pilot. Now, one thing, if you can notice, the Willy pilot pen, I have drawn it to be a little bigger than the carrier pilot pen. Why? Because in hemophilia, the level desired is more than equal to 0.5, but in one Williman disease, the VWF factor activity should be corrected and should be more than 0.5. So it has a bigger pen. Of course, a bird is going to hold a smaller pen and the fox is going to hold a bigger pen. So it is more than 0.5 for Willy and more than equal to 0.5 for the carrier. And so the income tax officer is now fed up of all the functions and all the pens and all the carriers and everything. So he comes down to Chilpil on the last floor, that is the minimum risk, the most unlikely to be at risk floor, because ground floor, you see, all the poor people are placed on the ground floor. So the income tax officer comes down and thinks, okay, so this is not going to be too much of an issue. And on the first floor, he finds the rare coagulopathies without any bleeding phenotype. For example, we have the 5, 7, 10. 5, 7, 10. If you can remember, I've tried to depict it with 4 classrooms: classroom 5th standard, 7th standard, 10th standard, and 11th standard students all studying about rhino, which is rare variety. So what I'm trying to say is, the rare coagulopathies, there is no bleeding here, so rare coagulopathies, and they are no bleeding. And this beautiful girl, she has attained her puberty. She is in class 12 now, and she is the most safe person to be with. She's full of energy, she's bubbling with energy, nothing to worry about. So factor 12 deficiency of any severity is always unlikely to be at risk. So now, after looking at this class 12 girl, the income tax officer is done with his inspection and he wants to go back. So I believe this is the easiest way I could figure out to make this table easy. Hope it works. Thank you.